Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Recently I did a video where I used some oil pastels to create a resist, and I got a lot of comments and suggestions, so I wanted to try a couple of other options here. I did go to Dollar Tree and I picked up this pen. It's a gel pen. Someone left a comment saying to try a ballpoint pen. I can't tell, it looks like a ballpoint pen, so I'm gonna try this and see if this would work. Basically the idea is you get an impression on your paper, and then I've got these just Crayola crayons. Actually, I got these at Hobby Lobby, and then I found this 3-pack of really small composition notebooks that I really wanted to kind of see if I could make some jelly prints onto, or at least maybe put some into to create some kind of a little book. I just wanted to open these up. And this pack has these 3 colors. There's one other pack I saw with like a darker blue, a purple, and maybe a black. I thought these were so cute. And let's just see. I'm trying to think if I were to jelly print directly into the book. I can probably open it flat and press that down. So I'm going to give that a try and see if I can try making some little mini gel prints into this book. And then for the crayons, we're going to do, didn't matter which colors I got. I'm not going to use them traditionally. I'm just going to take one out and peel off this paper. And then once the paper's off, I can use the flat side of it to rub over a stencil, and we're going to give it a try with the wax. Let's see what this pen looks like, if the tip of it seems like it might work. I also really just like this pen. It's soft and it's got a pretty color to it. So give that one a try. And then for the paper that I'll be using, I wanted a thicker paper, a little bit thicker, so I'm using the 110 pound Nina White cardstock to make my impression for the pen markings, and I'll use my copy paper that I had used for my oil pastel resist. I'm just going to reuse this and see if I can get a design over the top of this. I'm going to try using this piercing mat from We Are Memory Keepers. It's just for making some stitching on paper. Anyway, I'm going to use that as my background because I want a squishy surface so that the marking will go through. So let's give this a try. Now let's just say you're not really good at drawing. A tip that I'm going to try is using a stamp. I'll press it down and then I'll draw over it with my pen marking and just take the details that I want to capture. I got this from Dollar Tree recently and I thought these little birds were so pretty. So I think I want to try this little bird down here. I'm going to use my VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And this is also from Dollar Tree. Just this little acrylic block thing. And my stamp doesn't have to be perfect because I'm just going to draw over it. And maybe I'll do another one too. Okay, so those will be the ones I'll draw around. All right, and I am applying pressure. I'm going to start with the outline, and then I'll come in and do some details. And if you turn it over, you can see where your impression is coming through. I think I'll do some of these feather designs here. So you can see that's going to be my impression. I think that's a good start for that bird. And I'll do the other ones real quick here. Okay, we'll start with that for the birds. Over on this side, I'll do some freehand drawing. Maybe over here, do some dots, hash marks. Okay, so we'll see what those look like. And then got my piece of paper that I used for my texture last time. I was able to peel off about half of the paper. Just gonna break it. I'm going to be using this stencil. This is Suspicious Sprouts, designed by Rhonda Donna and sold on PM Artist Studio. I can tell it's going to be hard to see what design I'm doing, so I'm going to flip it over and just do the other side. And I want to mix it up. Bring in another stencil here. This is Sunflower Gate by Christy Hartman. Okay, we'll see how this works. So first, let's test out this homemade texture. With the pen, I'm going to use golden fluid acrylics, some teal, bright yellow or yellow light, and a phthalo green blue shade. Now the teal has some white in it, so I'm going to mix that one up first. That way I can pull some of that into my yellow and green. And I'll just take this and lay it down. Got some paint. I don't want to leave it on really long, just long enough. Okay, my little hashtaggy things, I'd have to press down, I think, harder. The birds actually turned out pretty good. I'm excited to see those. And these little textures, I think I have an idea for how I'll use those on my next one. But I'll let this dry and we'll put some paint behind it and pull this print up. I'm gonna mix up some of these warm colors to put on top. And there are the birds. And I could have cleaned up around the birds a little bit, but I didn't. And there's the squiggly line texture, and these that didn't really turn out at all, and the dots. So I'm going to do another one, but this time I'm going to cut some of these pieces out. Okay, so now let's print with these as individual pieces. For the background color on this, I think I'll go with like a purple. I'm going to use this Prism Violet. And I think I'll come in with some of my Phthalo Blue. That looks nice and thin. And then I'll take my little pieces and take my tissue paper one thing I am noticing is, well, first of all, you get that edge. I don't love that. And second, using them a second time, they don't pull up the design quite as nice. So I'll show you. The bird details aren't quite as good as the first time around. And I'm just going to mix up my colors again. I've got this green over here. And then I've got my little composition notebook. I'll do this. I lost a page. These look pretty neat. Let me try doing another one. And now we'll see how this works. I think it's safe to say it doesn't work at all. It just pulled up the jelly print, and it left some behind because I pulled it up pretty quickly. But that's okay. I'm going to let that dry and we'll do something else. So I'd recently gel printed with these little flowers, the fake flowers from Dollar Tree, and I want to try taking them apart. So there's this green thing in the back. That on its own I think could make a cool impression. So I'll set that aside. And then I want to take these individual flower pieces and pull them apart. And then I have this really cool part that I can press in. I took apart some of the leaves. And I've got one of these smaller ones. And I just ended up cutting it. I couldn't get that apart, but this could make a cool design as well. And I've got these little pieces. And the little center. And now we'll take these flowers that I can put flat. And I use some of these markings. This one sheds a little bit. And now go ahead and press down. It's a lot easier to press these when they don't have the metal pieces sticking out. That looks really cool. And I realized I removed this once I pressed the paper down, but that's okay. I'm learning. Okay, that looks really neat, but I don't think it's wet enough to pull that up, so I will let that dry. What I'm going to do next is use my violet and then I can still see where the flowers are, so I can come in with these centers and kind of press those in. And this shape or design I can push in. For my final layer, I'll use my gold. I'm coming back in with my composition notebook. Alright, so I flipped my jelly plate over. And it didn't all transfer because my gold was a little bit too dry. I kind of like that. So that's okay. It gives me another layer that I can add on here. So what I might do is use these sprouts . And I can already tell that's going to be too dry, so I'll just use it to pull a little more design. And I'll put one more layer over the top of that. I think this will be the final layer. So I'm going to do some white, some phthalo turquoise, and a little bit of my teal. My next page is opened. So this should be pretty dry, and you can see on each side it's stuck nicely. So I'm going to flip it over, and this time I'm going to try not to rip the page. Okay, now there's a little bit of these pieces up here that I'll just pull off. And there we go. And now it's in my cute little book. And I'll probably leave this one open to dry a little bit more. But I can come in with some stamping, some texture paste, and kind of finish these pages off. But look how cool that is. I love the different layers of the colors that came out through this one. I'm going to just do some playtime and just put some different colors on the plate. Now I wanted to see if I take my hole punch through, I could see the other layers through it. So this makes it so I can see the next layer of punch from the bottom here. So that I can see that layer. Those of you that always want to know what I make with my Gelli prints or what projects I turn them into, I'm just going to play some music and show you my process for making this mixed media book and turning it into sort of like an art journal with these pages. Hope you enjoy watching the process. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching my process as I made this little mini book, a few pages with Gelli Printing and some mixed media. Thanks for being here and following along. I hope you're working on something that brings you joy. I'll see you in the next video. Happy crafting, y'all.